Meeting will come to order, please. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act for this meeting have been satisfied. Would you please turn off electronic equipment as we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Becker?
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg?
I am here.
The first order of business on our agenda is we are awarding a proclamation to Jerry and Myra Greenberg, who are here, and I have the honor.
Where is it, Mayor?
To make a stand for a least minute.
That was me.
Proclamation reads as follows. Whereas the city of Margate City is pleased and proud to recognize Jerry and Myra Greenberg for their dedication and loyalty as an employee, volunteer, and philanthropic. Whereas Jerry and Myra Greenberg began their marriage by settling in Margate City, where they raised their family of 2 boys, Paul and Dan. And whereas Jerry Greenberg became an insurance agent with the family business Lewis Greenberg Incorporated for more than 40 years. And whereas Myra taught science and chemistry at Atlantic City High School from 1976 until 1998 when she retired. And whereas Jerry and Myra have been devoted to the community of Margate City through volunteering in many capacities. And whereas Jerry began his volunteerism as Margate's Civil Defense Manager in 1968. That was the year I was born. Jerry was appointed to the position of Emergency Management Coordinator in 1987 and was instrumental in writing flood insurance policies in the state of New Jersey. And whereas Myra, was appointed to the Margate City Board of Education in 1996, where she served until 2005. Myra was a founding member of the local chapter of Art Goes to School, which was responsible for bringing art into the classrooms of kindergarten through 8th grade. And whereas Jerry and Myra have expanded students' horizons for art by sponsoring an annual 5th grade class trip to the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Now therefore be it proclaimed that August 15th, 2019 be known as Jerry and Myra Greenberg Day in the city of Margate City.
And Mayor, if I may, to the public, I would like to make a comment based on the fact that I did work with Mr. Greenberg over the past 4.5 years, and it was a total pleasure for his concern for the residents of this city as we had issues with storms, and everything he did was properly in order with the state, and that was the lion's share of the work being prepared ahead of time. We're proud that we have a shelter at our Union Avenue complex, our municipal complex. It was all with the work that Mr. Greenberg did. And what's unique is this couple here has given back to the community time and time again. Mr. Greenberg took the original job until 1991 when the state police changed the emergency response law to make it mandatory that you paid somebody for that position. He did it as a volunteer, and he didn't even want to accept money, but it was mandatory by the state that he be paid a stipend. And as a result, this couple gave back to our community time and time again, sponsoring bus trips to the Art Museum in Philadelphia for our children in our school system, which I hear today from the older students, the remarkable day that they spent with you, both of you, and the teachers that were the chaperones on the trip.
Running
So,
up the Rocky
Absolutely. So you're an extraordinary couple, and the city of Margate is very proud of all the work that both of you have done, and I thank you personally for everything you did for our school kids. Thank you.
Just a quick, brief note. Jared is actually my cousin. Well, we hadn't figured out the relationship yet, so now that he has time, he'll have time to do that. Ancestry.com. Thank you.
Good job.
We will now proceed to a promotion in the police department. John?
Thank you, Mayor. Captain Cashin, please, and your family. Again, it's another great day in the city of Margate and the Margate City Police Department. Captain Cashin has come through the ranks. He is a Margate true and blue, born and raised. His schooling was here at Thai School and on Union Avenue, because I think where Ross's was Granville, which was torn down when you were at your age, way past the time I was there. But he attended Holy Spirit High School, graduated, and went on to get a business administration degree out of LaSalle University. So, Rich, you have competition. Right in the police department. He was hired in '97 as a patrolman, and at that same time he was accepted into the State Police Academy and was successful through that project, but decided to come to work for Margate, which we're very, very proud of. He promoted to lieutenant in 2014, and during his career he was a field training officer. He was also very instrumental in the implementation of our accreditation, which is very important throughout the state of New Jersey, and we were one of the first few in the state to be accredited, if I'm correct in saying that. And he's currently is the manager of the accreditation, and plus, he's now going to be the operations division commander. So with that said, Captain, I would like you to raise your right hand and place your left hand on the Bible and repeat after me. State I, your full name.
I, Ronald S. Cashin,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United
and
States,
that I will support the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States and this state,
in the United States and this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will impartially,
that I will impartially,
faithfully,
faithfully,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of office of captain of the police department
perform all the duties of the office of captain of the police
in
department
the city of Margate
in the city of Margate,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations again.
I just want to say thank you to my family and friends, especially my wife Allison, through all the sacrifices, many sacrifices throughout the years that they have, that I can be up here today standing before all of you. And they've had my back always, and have supported me more than you'll ever know. I love you all. Thank you so very much. And to the members of the police department, it's truly a pleasure to serve with all of you. Always know that you're always the backbone of this agency. You guys make it run. And it's truly an honor and a privilege to work for this police department and to serve the residents of this community. And thank you very much for coming today. I really appreciate it.
Bob, do you want to stand at the mic? You want to stand at the microphone, or you want to sit here? Whatever. We will now move to the item for discussion portion of the agenda, and at this point, we have a presentation of our audit by Mr. Bob Swisher of Suplee, Clooney and Company. Bob?
Thank you, Mayor. We have recently finished the December 31st, 2018 audit for the city of Margate. It was held up a little bit. The state of New Jersey was a little bit behind in their numbers to give out to people. Generally, this report is given earlier in the year, but unfortunately, the state was not able to provide the information that they needed. But we eventually got it in July, and we were able to issue the report. As you know, we do a financial and a compliance audit. On the financial side, we're trying to determine if your financial statements are fairly stated. And on the compliance side, we're trying to determine if you're in compliance with the rules and regulations of the state of New Jersey. I'm happy to report that in both cases, the city passed in flying colors. We rendered an opinion, unmodified opinion, that your financial statements are fairly stated, and there are no comments or recommendations in the audit report that you'll require to address it, a corrective action plan or anything like that. The city is in very, very good financial shape. For a city your size, your surplus is very healthy. Having that helped you, I know recently you had a bond sale and you got a very good bond rating, and that is directly related to the fact of your surplus. So I commend the finance team and the commissioners for going along with that plan that they came up with to allow that to happen. Overall, the city's debt is well under control. We had an exit conference where we discussed other items with the finance team, and we gave some suggestions that they'll be working on. But in conclusion, overall, the city's in very good shape. If anybody had any questions, I'd be glad to answer those.
Any questions for Mr. Swisher? Bob, thank you very
Very
much.
good.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Thank you.
Great job.
Scott, we're gonna start department heads with you. At this point, we'll move on to department head reports, and at this meeting, Mr. Abbott, the solicitor, will begin.
Fairly quiet, Mayor. Some good news. As you know, we've had our ongoing efforts with Lombardi's and our efforts to rebuild the bulkhead on Amherst Avenue, which is failing in many locations. They have started construction to finish at 588 feet at no cost to the taxpayer. So that is moving forward. I'd also like to say, Mayor, just for the record, I've been reading a lot of things on the internet about the promenade, and I've been accused of being personally involved, that it would benefit me because I owned property down by Amherst Avenue. Just want the public to know, you cannot believe everything you read on the internet. I haven't owned property down there for 16 years. It is true, I developed Blue Water Marina, but I sold it. I did that 30 years ago, and I sold it 16 years ago. And it's upsetting to my wife and my kids. They wanted to know, is there a problem here? I said, well, it's just the internet. People say whatever they want without verification. It's not like a newspaper or anything else. So it's not true. I have no personal interest in what happens with the promenade. So, Mayor, thank you for giving me the opportunity to put that on the public record. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Frank?
This week we had another recycling audit. This week coming up will be the last day for our recycling audit, which went really well with the Atlantic County Utilities Authority. We also hosted a Rutgers University course for Clean Communities certification. This week will be the last week for that course. We've been doing a lot of utility work around town. We also, this past week, went up to the Parkway, the All Wars Memorial Monument. We put new lighting in, put a new foundation in for the light post, and all new electric, and there are LED lights now that'll light that monument up. That's all I have.
Thank you, Frank. Good job. Jim?
Good afternoon, Mayor. I just want to let everybody know demolitions start on September 15th, but that's a Sunday, so they'll be starting on the 16th. I think there's 8 or 9 or maybe 10 slated to come down. Also, construction hours for the general public are Monday through Friday, 7 to 6, Saturdays 8 to 4, no work on Sunday. If anybody sees any work, please notify the police department and they'll send an officer out there to stop the work. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Jim. Roger?
Thank you, Mayor. Nothing new to report. Getting a flurry of inspection requests. There's a planning board meeting on the 29th, and there's 6 applications. Again, the public is invited to attend. Nothing else.
Thank you. Ed, do you have anything?
I have nothing to add to my previous report.
Thank you. Wow, that's the fastest he's ever been. Rich, please.
Because Ed didn't say anything, I'll just say that we're starting construction season. We talked about it at our capital meeting, but the public will be seeing construction taking place on several of our roadways in the fall. Most of the construction won't, much of the construction won't actually begin in earnest until after the September activities along Amherst Avenue. I'm going to defer to the finance director, anything she may say relative to the capital ordinance that's on the agenda later today.
Can I get a second bite at the apple?
We have to vote.
With
Yes,
a lot,
you can.
with a lot of people in attendance, I just want to note, when these construction projects start up, there will be a notice handed out to any property owner that is along the track of where we're doing our work. And the notice, and this is a bit of a change since the last construction season, will include an option to get onto an email list so you can be updated on our construction activities as we move through the construction season. So if you happen to be located in an area where there will be construction taking place, please take advantage of that option. There's instructions on where to send an email to get onto the list, and then you'll be included on a weekly email that'll go out every Monday that provides a timetable and a description of the work that's taking place in your neighborhood. So I just wanted to make a note of that.
Thank you, Ed. Lisa?
Good afternoon, thank you. As Rich alluded to, we have 2 capital ordinances on the agenda this evening, 07-2019 and 08-2019. 07 is a general capital ordinance authoring various capital projects within the city. Just to mention a few of those projects that are included, and I just want to specify, this is authorizing the funding for these projects also. You would still have to authorize in the future if you want to proceed with these projects, but we needed to get the funding in place. Some of the items included are purchase of hydrants, a dump truck for public works, some beach shack replacement, improvements to our recreational complex, and equipment, the 2018 and 2019 road programs, curb and gutter program. There's a portion to fund the bulkhead project on Amherst Avenue. And just so you know that project, as had previously been discussed, is going to take place in various phases. So what is funded is primarily the funding for the bulkhead improvements and the preliminary work associated with that, underground electricity and lighting and things of that nature. And then there's other miscellaneous equipment and improvements that are needing to be made to various municipal facilities. As you know, in years past, we've tried to have our capital budget stay within the range of $3.5 million for general improvements and $1.5 million for our utility. This ordinance, I just want to point out that although the amount we're authorizing for general capital, we're authorizing future debt of $4,349,000. That is not actually what we are spending. And just to try to keep it as simple as possible, although it's over the 3.5 million, we would not be paying down the 4.3 million because there is outside funding included in that, that has been approved through various state agencies of over $1 million. So after you reduce that by the $1 million, we are within our budget. However, we need to authorize the full amount in order to authorize the projects for spending purposes. Gets a little confusing, but that's how it works. The supplemental debt statement, it's required to be filed by the state. I prepared today and submitted it on time, a copy of which is going to be posted to the website if it has not already been posted, along with copies of both of these ordinances. The only other thing I want to mention to you, the date for our employee health fair, I don't know if I notified you yet. It's set for October 22nd. We will be doing it in conjunction with Longport and Ventnor again. So the plans are in the works. October 22nd from 11 until 2. Same in the multi-purpose room of our municipal building. Trying to change it up a little bit different, and this year we're going to focus on raising awareness for ALS. Other than that, I just want to report that as of July 31st, our beach badges, our realized revenue is up by over $8,000 from that point last year. And to date, if I could see, we took in just over $308,000. And that's all I have, unless you have any questions.
Any questions for Lisa? Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Johanna?
There was a meeting today over at the Thai School with Commissioner Amadeo, Frank Verschetti, and the Board of Elections from Atlantic County concerning the polling place. And we have made, we're going to make arrangements to change the entrance of the polling place to the back side of the Monmouth Avenue side of the building so that it will be more handicap accessible. We'll be purchasing a handicap ramp that will be able to be removed when the election's done, stored, and then put back into place when it's needed. If this turns out, it will be available for our next election come November.
Anything else, Johanna?
I think that's it.
Thank you very much. Chief?
The police department, we finally received formal paperwork from the New Jersey State Chiefs of Police Association for our reaccreditation. We're hoping that sometime in September, they're going to come down and present it formally. Takes a lot of hard work to get the accreditation. This is our second time around. We have another 3 years. The paperwork was forwarded to our insurance company as a benefit to the city for savings. It was forwarded to the CFO. So it was nice to get through that process again for another 3 years of accreditation. Recently, we had our annual Law Day at the Margate Library last Thursday. It was well attended. It's a great community policing event. I wanted to dovetail off of what Ed said with a large group of people here. The police department has a Facebook page. We try to put information out there as soon as we get it. If we can have the road closings, even small things, missing animals. It's a good social media tool to try to get into the digital age. So if you can, log on, like it. We'll try to get you as much information as possible. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. Fred?
Yes, Mayor. The municipal building, through all the repairs that we've been doing, has reached one of the phases which we consider very important. We had an air quality test done 2 weeks ago, and I'm happy to report that the air quality test came back perfect. We're well within the guidelines for any air quality problems. There was nothing found, nothing to repair, just continue maintenance the way we're going. That's all I have.
Thank you, Fred. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. It continues to be a really busy summer in the fire department. Our call volume is up again, probably about 15% over last year. And I really don't have direct answers for this. You know, the administrator and I talked about it last year, and I think it's just there's more people here visiting and enjoying what Margate has to offer in the summer especially, and I think that's the influx of our calls is based on that. The fire department is in the final stages of training on our new SCBA. that we're able to get through the regional grant with Atlantic City and Ventnor. And we've been going up to the Atlantic City Fire Department and doing an SCBA confidence course with all of our members, myself included, finished it the other day. So all of our personnel will be fully trained and operational on the new air packs. And on a final note, as the beach season begins to wrap up, there may be periodic beaches closed due to staffing. Please swim only at guarded and protected bathing beaches and only during lifeguard hours. I can't reiterate that enough. This is going into hurricane season and the rip tides and rip currents continue to get worse. Please bear the advice of what we tell you and only swim at guarded and protected beaches. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Good advice. Marty, you have any?
Yes, I do. Mike, I have two things. One, thank you, and one, congratulations. So my first thank you goes out to Bob Swisher from Supply Clooney and his team for all the time and energy and hard work that they spent on the audit, ensuring that we are doing things the right way. In conjunction with that, to Lisa and Rich and their teams and all the department heads for making sure that they also do all the things the right way. My second is a congratulations, and that goes out to Yogi Hiltner and the Margate Hurricanes men's baseball team, who are part and parcel of the Atlantic County League for over 50 years. They came back from a 0-2 deficit in a best-of-5 series and swept 3 games against Northfield to secure the Atlantic County League championship, which is brings great pride to me as a former member of that team and to all of Margate. So congratulations to the Margate Hurricanes. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Marty. John?
Longest standing champions of that league. True?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes, Mayor, thank you. I would like to, naturally, continuing thanks to our police department and our fire department and our lifeguards for the great job they do during our busy season, 12 months of the year. We're winding down. We're coming to the close. Labor Day's in the near future. Hopefully, we continue to have another successful season. With that said, they're key to keeping Margate safe. All 3 entities, lifeguards, police department, and fire department. They're here for our disposal, and they put their lives on the line for us every day. So I appreciate everything all the men and women of both departments do. I want to lead into a letter that Mayor Becker and Commissioner Blumberg and myself received from Commander Larry Passatrilli, who was one of my college roommates back in the 70s, early 70s, that he's the commander of the Longport American Legion. Every year for the past 8 years, they've hosted a wounded warrior to come into town, and a family gives up their house for this family to come in and enjoy the summer during this, during the season, the September month. And the arrival of that Navy SEAL is Joe Hahn and his family. He has 4 sons, age 18 months to 12 years of age, and his wife. They'll be arriving at Ventnor Plaza on September 10th. They've asked Margate and naturally Ventnor to participate in the parade that will go down Dorset Avenue from Ventnor Plaza, where their arrival from Atlantic City Airport will be. And they will go down Atlantic Avenue, and they will end up at the Borough Hall in Longport. So any residents that are here in town and are available to line the streets on Atlantic is a great cheer for this young man and his family spending that week here in Longport. So I want to thank Larry for notifying us, and we will be participating, our police and fire department, as we have done in the past. And that's all I have to report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Excuse me. Not much left for me to say, but I will say, and I've said this before pretty much at every meeting, how happy I am and proud I am to live in such a great community. At this point, we will close department head reports. We will open public comment. Okay. let me, let me explain the procedure. Public comment, you have 3 minutes. You can talk on anything that was discussed at this meeting. If you have another subject, it will be at the very beginning of the next meeting. So, and now I'll open public comment. Is there anyone has public comment? Please come to the microphone and state your name and address. Is there a motion to close public comment? Is there public comment? Okay. Don't be sorry. Your name and address, please.
Miriam Weitzman, 9608 Amherst Avenue. I just wanted to ask, when you were reading all the possible capital improvements on the ordinance, and you were talking about the bulkhead. Now, the bulkhead's a big issue for me. I don't like the flooding and the collapsed streets. I have a question. Has the bulkhead in the section by the between Lamberti's and Blue Water, there's a section that looks new. Is that the new bulkhead height? Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify. Huh?
Elevation 8.
Okay, so that's what I thought. So the whole bulkhead, part of this section has been completed, and then the other section down where the Leeds building, I believe, has been completed. Is that correct?
That's at 8-2.
Okay, so my confusion is this ordinance, because I read about this boardwalk or promenade, and when I got the information being on Amherst, I knew there was going to be an expanded walkway section. Obviously, I thought it was just going to be an expanded sidewalk. You know, I knew about the expanded 2 feet. So is this new boardwalk part of that ordinance?
I don't believe it is it, Rich?
Okay.
No, it's
That's
not.
what
Okay. It's really a public comment portion, not a question and answer.
Oh, I'm
period.
sorry.
No,
My
it's
question
okay.
was about the
no,
bulkhead. It really
we're
was.
fine with that.
Okay.
Okay. Any other public comment?
Mayor, may I just respond, just to clarify something for you, for the young lady? Just so that you and the residents that are here, there is no decision on a boardwalk. There was a presentation, a public presentation at our last capital meeting 2 weeks ago, where the engineer that designed, the bulkhead that's in failure is the city bulkhead. It's going to be replaced this winter because our streets are caving into the bay and it's a public safety threat. That's why we've closed off over the last 3 years the sections of the parking. We're trying to remediate that. One concept that was presented by our engineer was on a board in the back, and it was only for discussion only. There was no decision made for a boardwalk. There's a possibility that it could be a boardwalk, it could be a concrete promenade. What we look to do is increase the width from the 4 foot to 9 foot, based on the DEP regulations allows us to put a bulkhead 2 foot further seaward, which means now we won't disturb the parking, the 90-degree perpendicular parking that exists, and we'll be able to have a wider cartway. And the Leeds property and the old Captain Andy's property, they're private entities that have supported our mission to put a promenade that was a part of our master plan, this current master plan that we passed last year, 2017, to put a promenade that hopefully long range, with no decisions made yet, that will tie to our central business district, which is up Washington Avenue to both Atlantic Avenue and Ventnor Avenue. But those are plans that are all in discussion with no decisions made. So the only thing in the capital that Lisa discussed is the repair of 508 foot of bulkhead that the city is going to pay for. All the other bulkheads, the other 900 foot was paid for by private entities. So the taxpayers weren't responsible for that. That's your city commission working for the taxpayers.
Okay.
I was just unclear about the height,
Okay.
That's the height we're talking about.
Okay, thank you. Any last chance for public comment? Name and address, please.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ira Spector. I live at 8302 Ventnor Avenue. I was delighted to hear that revenue for beach tags is up versus last year. I'd like to know if we're going to have checkers at the beach. I haven't seen a single one this summer, and we've had people parking in front of our house. They tell us they're from Northfield. They tell us from other parts of New Jersey. They love coming to Margate's Beach because it's free. So we're all surprised to see that, and I'd like to understand that.
We'll check on it, thank you. Sir, last chance.
Mayor, one more thing. You're correct. On Thursdays, the beach is free. Beach badges don't apply on Thursday through the season. You're right. Thank you.
Barry Sherman, 9510 Amherst Avenue. I'm not sure if this is part of the public comment for the next session or if I'm proper to ask now, but nevertheless, I want to know when the construction is to start and when you expect it to end. I know you can't give an exact end date, but you can give a beginning date.
We're going to be going out to bid. Mayor, may I? We're going to be going out to bid hopefully during the month of September. And the biggest problem is we can't go out to bid until our bond ordinance has its final reading, because that's the appropriation that allows us to go out, that we have the funding to go out to bid. We're hoping that we can expedite the process, and the issue is, it's going to take 2 months to get the bulkhead material fabricated. So our best guess is construction starts sometime in November, in the beginning of November, and the way we planned it, it would be done before Memorial Day, and we would have parking opened up with no finished product, with just shells like we did on the first section. This way we can have during our busy season for our visitors, et cetera, that we have parking available for our business district and our restaurants, and it'll be for the summer. And then as we progress, and hopefully the following fall, we can complete the promenade from the Lamberti's property line to the Captain Andy's property line.
That completes the whole, like you two ends done, that'll complete the center.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay. All right, last chance. Anything that was discussed at this meeting? It's a motion to close public comment.
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes,
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
We will take a 5-minute break and then we will reconvene.
announced. Just go through it.
Yes.
Okay, may I have a motion to close the meeting?
So moved.
Mayor Becker. Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
So you